Me with a bachelor's of physics. Why they are weightless, because they are falling, but they've got a fast enough tangential velocity that they miss the Earth. So that's why they're weightless. They still have gravity acting on them. It's about 88% of the gravity that we experience here on the surface. But because they are falling towards the Earth, like in the Vomit comet, you know, the airplane that does the parabolic flights, when it's diving down towards the Earth, the people inside are weightless. That's why the ISS, they're floating.
That's not actually true. They start going weightless as they go up. There's actually a video on that, but I'm not sure. I haven't actually got the link to it. Where there's some geezer and he's saying that when you go up,
as they go up.
Yeah, he's got the nose of the plane pointing up, and that's when it starts going weightless. He's the one that does all these different experiments. He goes in like the anti-gravity where it's going like centrifugal force, and it's spinning around. He's put that person.
Works.
That's what he said in the video.
Okay, so
I'd like to see that video.
3, 2, 1, I'm experiencing 1.8 Gs right now, which means I weigh about 1.8 times what I normally would. I've been instructed to keep my head front and centre to avoid nausea. But all this is about to change because this is the European Space Agency's zero-G flight. Those are students doing research. This is Neil, who's here for my safety. And we're about to go into free fall. Whoa! Whoa! And here's the confusing thing. We are still going up right now. That camera is stabilized to the actual horizon. And it's not until 10 seconds into our 20-second parabola, into our maneuver, that we clip the apex and start heading back down towards the ground. And here we go. 1.8 Gs. Oh.
In this special aircraft, we divide the...
And here's the confusing thing. We are still going up right now.
Saying that when you go up.
As they go up.
Still going up right now.
Dangled a long plumb line on a platform 2/3 of the way up the mountain. He knew 2 gravitational forces would act upon it. The main gravity would obviously be coming from the mass of the Earth, pulling it down. But the mass of the mountain itself would pull the plumb line towards it, slightly off vertical. We've exaggerated it here. That gravitational effect is what he measured. From the angle the plumb line was deflected, Maskelyne could calculate the mass of the Earth relative to the mountain. He knew what the mountain weighed, so he could work out the weight of the Earth.
Pretty impressive stuff, right?
And this has been...
Have weight.
Can I beg your pardon?
How can the Earth have weight?
If Earth is in space, then it shouldn't have any weight, should it?
I think Rachie has an excellent point. The presenter misspoke. That is exactly right. And full marks to you, Rachie, because that was an error. That is an error that is a distinct error in the video. The Earth has mass; it does not have weight. Well done.
A lot of time the presenters won't know scientific terminology and, you know, won't say things exactly right. But what he meant was he was all able to determine the mass of the Earth and the mass of the mountain.
Yeah. Can I beg your pardon?
How can the Earth have weight?
If Earth
Can I beg your pardon?
How can the Earth have weight?
If Earth
Can I beg your pardon?
How can the Earth have weight?
If Earth
It's not physical. It's
No,
reflective.
nothing you buy. Hold your hand out in front of you. Is that your physical hand you're seeing?
Correct.
No, it's not. A reification fallacy is when you treat a model or a mathematical construct as real. We are not doing that.
So,
Me with a bachelor's of physics.
same numpty dipshittery from you, 24 March 2020 on Quantum Eraser Channel. Each tear-jerking belly laugher claim alone, and there's 6, is enough grounds to be hung for pretender clown Dunning-Kruger numpty dipshittery fraud. Here's the highlights demonstrating this numpty pretender clown dipshittery in spades.
And that is to do with the angular velocity of the Earth at certain latitudes.
Fatality.
Me with a bachelor's of physics.
You dumbass.
If the Earth was rotating, each latitude would have the same angular velocity.
Now, if you're at the equator, the angular velocity is approximately 1,000 miles an hour.
Fatality.
Me with a bachelor's of physics.
Folks, angular velocity is measured in radians or degrees or revolutions per unit time, not distance per unit time.
And if you were to go north, you would go into an area of lower angular velocity.
Fatality.
Dude, my word, man. From physicstutorials.org, unlike tangential velocity, angular velocity of all points on the platform doing circular motion are equal to each other, since the number of rotations per unit time are equal.
The Earth doesn't rotate 1,040 miles an hour. That is an angular velocity.
Fatality.
The angular velocity is 1,000 odd miles an hour.
Are you serious? Are you serious?
Fatality.
The rotation is not 1,030 miles an hour. The angular velocity is 1,030 miles an hour at the equator. Me with a bachelor's of physics.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I don't think you fully grasp how batshit insane Dunning-Kruger, pretend to clown moronic the past 6 statements are. Even if you had no training in physics whatsoever, as soon as you hear angle or angular, meters or miles or kilometers per unit time should trigger the full tilt alarm bell that you're off the f***ing reservation, never to return. Good God, man. This entire fiasco is akin to asking Craig, "Hey, what's your weight?" He responds, 35 degrees. "Hey, what's the angular size of your crayon box at 10 paces? His response, 220 kilos.
Me with a bachelor's of physics.
Back to the regular scheduled programming.
I don't know science. Guess I'm a retard.